What's going on, everyone? In today's episode, Zach and I talk all about protein. Specifically, we discuss key points from the Josh Brett video entitled "The Protein Obsession is Out of Control," including the problems with how food is often marketed as being high protein in a way that's misleading or just not true. We also talk about things like our own personal protein intake preferences, like what high protein foods we include in our own diets to meet our own muscle growth goals, as well as what we find to be personally sustainable and enjoyable. Before we get started, if you find yourself enjoying the episode, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us out. Okay, let's dive in. Zach, do you think that now in 2025 that our culture, our society has an obsession with protein?
I don't think our society has an obsession with it. I think there are certain influencers, marketing, I think is pushing to it because I would say the majority of society is still not even focusing on nutrients or macros or anything. So I don't want to say that, but I would say for the people that are trying to focus on it, yes, there has been a push lately to have more protein. Everyone's talking about it. Everything has like protein stuff in it now. There's like protein chips, protein whatever. There's protein stuff that I didn't even know had protein in it. So I do think there has been a shift, but I don't think a majority of people. I would still argue a majority of people don't know the difference. But the people that are maybe looking into starting fitness, they've everyone's heard you got to get some protein, and so I think that is making mainstream. That is changing. It's no longer carbs are bad or anything like that. So I think that has shifted and people understand that. So when they say, hey, I want to start a fitness journey, let me do what I do, they're looking at the aisle. Oh, protein. Like I've heard about protein. Yeah, I should buy that. I think that's like the extent of it.
Yeah. I think and that's a good thing too, isn't it?
Hmm.
People are starting to understand and realize that, hey, if I want to get in better shape, if I want to build muscle, if I want to promote fat loss, because protein does kind of indirectly help with fat loss in that it's quite filling. It's hard to overeat protein. So if you're someone that struggles to stop yourself from eating and the byproduct of that is overeating like carbohydrates and fats like junky foods, instead of having the junky foods, having lots of protein, that can be helpful because then you stop eating sooner, you eat less calories overall. So in that sense, protein's really helpful. So that we can conclude that that's a good thing, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So we we watched a video that was all about how society perhaps has this newfound obsession with protein or a fixation with
Hmm.
protein. And one of the key elements of that video revolved around protein and how it's marketed.
Yeah.
In particular, that what we see on food labels can be incredibly misleading. So, like, for example, you see a box of granola bars in the store, and it'll say high protein, or it'll say something about the protein, 10 grams, 12 grams of protein, it's high protein, but it's misleading, and it's misleading largely. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Have you ever, and let's, before elaborating on the specifics of how the marketing can be misleading,
Mhm.
have you ever thought about that kind of thing in the past before watching that video? Like when you're in the grocery store, you're reading food labels and you're like, oh, high protein or high whatever, or like organic food or non-GMO. Are you
Mhm.
thinking too hard about like what it says on the food label? Or are you taking everything from face value based off of what it's saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think twofold. I am definitely trusting the label. right? I think there are some studies out there that when they test certain things, I know there's been lawsuits in the past for different things, like they don't actually have as much protein in it as it says. But I don't think you can live your life thinking everyone is trying to get one over on you. Um, but I will say I am definitely focused on labels now. And I would say the bodybuilding prep last year was what really keyed me in on this. Before when I had my fat loss journey, that's when I started paying attention to it, but not nearly as much. I was just kind of eating less intuitively, I guess, or just making sure it was less. But now I cannot eat a food without looking at the label at all. Even if I know, like even when I'm not prepping, I just awareness. Um, and for me, the biggest thing wasn't always how much protein was in it. Like obviously I wanted it to have protein. Everything I'm picking now, protein is my first main priority. Um, but for me, it was just the calories, right? Like if we want to say everyone's heard a gram per your pound, right? That's the easy one. So to get like 180 grams of protein, under a certain calorie threshold is super freaking hard. And you got to be super smart about what you want to eat. And so I think that's what really triggered it to me because I love protein bars. Right? Like protein bars are like a candy bar for me, right? And as I started eating protein bars, I'm like, wait a second, how is it that I am catching up to my calories before I'm meeting my protein mark? That's weird, right? And I think that was what first started making me like deep dive into it and then pick different protein bars over other ones. And then like I went down the whole, I don't want to like trash the David bar, but like I did a whole like I watched a whole video on them and research and I was like, how is this thing 150 calories and 28 grams of protein? Right. And it's like different types of protein that they're using potentially that maybe are not as good. Right. So I think for me, it was understanding my first goal was like, okay, say I have to eat 2,000 calories and I want to hit 180 grams of protein. Let me figure out how that math works. And that's what started opening my eyes about how things are saying they have more protein or it's a protein bar. But when you look at the macros, you're like, this is like, I'd rather eat a Snickers than I guess, because I'm basically getting the same protein to calorie ratio.
And
So
that's
that's kind of
part
what
of
opened my eyes. Yeah.
yeah. And that's the video that we're talking about here. That's one of the points is
Mhm.
that a lot of the protein bars or the granola bars that have labeled high protein on them, they basically are just candy bars. They're very
Mhm.
similar and they just have maybe like a little bit more protein in them, or they're literally just almost identical to a candy bar, but they kind of use high protein in a context that's misleading. So
Mhm.
to give more clarity on this, and I learned this from this video. When it says high protein, or I believe you're allowed to say high protein on a food label if it's something like 10, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this,
Yep.
it's like 12, 10 to 19% of your daily recommended intake of protein.
Yes.
If it meets
Yep.
that, then you're allowed to say high protein on it. But the funny part about that is the daily recommended amount for, I suppose, the average person, which is kind of ridiculous because everyone has different
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
have
Yeah. How do they come with
different
that? Yeah. Yeah.
recommended
Yeah.
amounts, is just 50 grams, which is like,
Crazy.
so if you take an average, let's say a 150-pound person, most people are heavier than that. Most males are going to be heavier than that nowadays. And
Mhm.
we stick to the 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein eaten per day. That's only a third
Yeah.
of,
Even if you go point 0.7, it's not enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not even
Yeah.
half still, right? So
Yeah.
it's that's incredibly misleading. So you can have a protein bar that has, or a granola bar that has 10 grams of protein and it'll say high protein. And that's actually true because that would be 20%
Yeah.
of your daily recommended amount. If that recommended amount is 50 grams, 10 is
Yeah.
20% of 50, I think. So that's incredibly
Yes.
misleading because when you,
Yeah.
yes. So that's misleading because when it comes to consuming enough protein for people that are concerned about getting enough protein for not just your
Mhm.
health but also for building muscle, a lot of people are concerned about that nowadays.
Yep.
It's not actually high protein. And then
Yeah.
the next layer is when you start to look at things like the protein to calorie ratio. So you could
Mhm.
have like a 250 calorie granola bar basically that says high protein on it. There's 10 grams, but 10 grams for 250 calories is like that's actually a pretty poor protein to calorie ratio. It would mean like if you wanted to get 150 grams of protein from that kind of protein bar, that would mean what's 250 times 15? Like
Too
that's a
much.
lot. Yeah, that's like what would that be like 4,000
3,500,
calories?
3,000, 3,500. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
of just
Yep.
that one food to meet your protein intake, and then you're gonna be malnourished, you'll be devoid of all these other
Yeah.
micronutrients, so it's actually got a pretty poor protein to calorie ratio, and then on top of that, there's other little finicky things that you can get away with when you are creating nutrition labels, in that you could have something that doesn't even meet
Mhm.
the daily recommended high protein threshold. So like maybe you have something that says that's 4 grams of protein or 5 grams of protein. You're not allowed to say high protein, but you can
Mhm.
say something like protein power or something like that.
Yeah.
Make it seem like you can change the wording so it seems like there's high protein in it, and just list the
Mhm.
protein on the like 4 grams. It looks impressive because that's what you're showcasing on the label, but in practice it's horrible. Like it's
Yeah.
horribly low.
Yeah.
So it can be incredibly misleading.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is too, it's misleading, but then also upcharged, right? Like they can charge so much more for it. It's like more of like a premium product. And it's one of those things. It's like it's hard to. I think, from my personal opinion, it's hard to blame a company that's at the end of the day they're trying to make money, right? Like I don't necessarily think food companies are in it to make healthier people. Like, I mean, some small ones are. So I don't necessarily. I'm not a big fan of like blaming the companies, especially into maybe back in the day, but like in today's age when majority of people should have access to like a smartphone and Google, like they can do a little bit of research, but it is just kind of sad in general that like why not just call a spade, just be honest with it, just say what it is. But like yeah, it's kind of like the chicken or the egg. Like, what if the government is allowing this? Is it the food company or someone's company's responsibility to overinform, or should they do what the government's allowing, and then the government's responsibility to up the standard? Right? Like, who should be taking the lead on that? I think is an interesting debate. Like, I'm not a big fan of like the government dictating certain things, but if they're not updating that, then the government need to update it and say, okay, guys, these standards we're using are probably super old. I didn't do any research into why it's 50 grams, right? Like that should be updated because basically every article, every scientist saying the point 0.7 is like optimal for like muscle growth and stuff. So and when you look at it, like it's interesting. I've never realized it until looking at labels about how on the back it talks about like based off of a 2,000 calorie diet, right? And I remember thinking like this doesn't apply because I'm eating more than 2,000 calories all the time. This is stupid, right? And
It's
now I'm like,
relative.
yeah, now I'm like, oh my god, I wish I could have 2,000 calories, right? But it's just funny because why do they pick that random number? And when they pick that number, why are they focusing so much more on like carbs? Like it's just interesting. When to see. So yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people can look things up, but they're taking advantage of the fact that it is becoming mainstream that people know protein's important. And also it's understandable that protein's more expensive, but they're not taking that extra step of informing correctly. They're like taking that movement and like, okay, let's make everything protein. Let's put what we need to. Let's upcharge it a ridiculous amount. But then like people aren't going to get the progress that they think they're going to get. But that's where I kind of put it back on the consumer. Like at what point do you realize, wait a second, I've been eating protein chips and protein pop tarts and protein everything, but I'm still fat. Like, okay, maybe I'm going to trash this, company on a review and say they're like, and then change it that way. Like, but then they're just going to be content with it and say like, well, I'm not everyone, but some people will be like, well, it's just not work. It's not for me, and then they might just give up. Or they'll just keep eating and spending way too much money. Um, So that was kind of a
I
lot. Like that deep dived into some like
I
deep stuff. But yeah.
I I think that I think that everything would be better if everything was just like 100% honest.
Hmm.
So from one of the things that you mentioned, I think that it would be helpful if they did update the government or whoever updated what the basic food standards should be
Hmm.
based off, and it would have to be some arbitrary number, like based off of like a 150-pound person, they should be eating X amount of protein. And I think that it would be nice if they did have the
Did it?
0.72 grams per pound of um, protein per day. I think that would be nice. So they updated that as a standard to meet,
Hmm.
and they did things like so they kept that honest and they had real honest values. And then also, if they're honest about not overpricing foods that actually are lower in protein, because the
Yeah.
reason they overprice it isn't because there's actually more protein in it. Because it's true, like, if you buy wh whole foods protein, so, like, meat, chicken, beef, so
Hmm.
on and so forth, like, that those types of food tend to genuinely be more expensive than your average, like, bag of chips that's just, like,
Hmm.
carbohydrates and fats. So, like, genuine real unprocessed whole foods protein is valued higher. It is
Yeah.
more expensive, but I think it's almost unethical to
Hmm.
increase the price of something that
Knowing it's
even though
not
it says it's it's actually not high in
there.
protein. It's
Yeah.
that's there's a dishonest element to that. So it's like they can get away with overpricing it, but
Hmm.
it's
They're
not
like passing the
honest.
buck though on saying, well, some entities allowed me to do this, so therefore I'm taking away the responsibility of it, even though they know deep down what they're doing. It's interesting you say because like yeah, like food is like the crap food like chips, cereal, all the stuff that we love to eat is super cheap, and that's a whole nother thing. It like maybe it's because it's cheaper to make, but also people are buying it because it's cheaper. But, like, it's also weird because, like, protein bars are so expensive, like, so expensive. I mean, I love them, but it's kinda like same thing with, like, energy drinks. Energy drinks are so expensive. So that's just all marketing 101 for that, right? Like, you can go and buy so much chicken for, like, so cheap compared to, like, if I tried to get that much protein, like, with protein bars, I don't even know how much I would have to spend, right? Like, it'd be ridiculous. And the companies make it really hard to buy those things in bulk. Like, typically, when I buy protein bars, if I'm gonna buy a lot of them, I'm going on, like, Amazon or I'm buying straight from the website, because when you go to the stores, you can't even get, like, the boxes or the smaller boxes, and they're always super expensive. Like, you know, but you can go to a grocery store and buy a whole bunch of chicken or something, I think relatively cheap, like, way cheaper than, like, steak or anything like that, but, so, yeah, I don't know. It's a tough problem to solve, but I think it is moving in the right direction. I think at least society has moved away from like focusing on like
Low
carbs are
fat.
bad, low fat. Also, even with training, like the days of just doing hit cardio all the time, I think is going away. I think more people understand strength training is important, especially for women. I think that's super important. I think that trend is picking up as well. So I think net positive. I think overall, it's just like anything, any adjustment, some industry is going to try to take advantage of it. I think it's just people can like the video that we were watching, stuff like that. Influencers need to make sure they're doing the right thing and showing the truth. Um, I think as I've gone through my fitness career, especially with the bodybuilding prep, I've learned a ton from different influencers. Right, like what are the good protein sources to buy? What protein bar should you be looking at? And I think that's what we were talking about before, like the whole what is it? Drop the zero, add the zero. I can't remember what it is. That's where I picked up that watching some influencer, right? If there's 10 grams of protein in it, the bar has to be 100 calories or less. And for me, if it's over, I don't buy it. Um, so that's like the ratios I use for all any kind of those. Again, I call them my treats, really. Last year I tried to survive on those. This year, very exceptions. Um, yeah.
They They're your, like, desserts, your prep desserts, basically.
The problem is though, they're too high calorie, and like I don't like. I'm literally looking at. 'em like, man, I got 200 calories left for the day. Do I want to eat a protein bar, or would I rather have like a whole bunch of strawberries, blueberries, even like a protein shake, which is like. And that's the thing too. I think still like protein is moving in the right direction, but just buy a protein like powder, make a shake. Then like you can still get so much more bang for your buck um, if you do it that way. And even but a lot of it's convenience, right? Do you wanna buy the protein powder and then mix it with something, or do you wanna buy even if you're buying a protein shake, you're just buying it off the shelf, they're gonna upcharge that for the convenience of it. Um, so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you in your earlier point that the direction that our culture is finding itself moving towards is good, and that there is more of a fixation on protein.
Mhm.
It's helpful for building muscle and keeping the body healthy. It helps to indirectly promote fat loss. I think that all of that is inherently good. And I think the only thing that's detrimental is just the misleading marketing and overpriced products that say they are high protein when they're actually not. But
Yeah.
talking about more of like the more kind of true, honest, high protein products, so like fitness supplements, like
Mhm.
protein bars and protein shakes and that sort of thing. How do you incorporate them into your like what's your preference in including them into your own eating routine? Like
Yeah.
do you include half of your daily protein intake from supplements? Is it like a third of your intake? Is it less than that? And I know you're just mentioning,
Mhm.
hey, like
Mhm.
the calorie ratio isn't worth it
Yeah,
nowadays
yeah, yeah.
for like a protein bar. But what? How do you like to
Yeah.
incorporate the true high protein like supplemental products?
So, right now, I'm not doing any protein bars unless I'm traveling. Like on a road trip, I am buying shout out Legendary. I love
Mhm.
their Pop Tarts. Super expensive, stupidly expensive, but good macros, 20 grams of protein for 180 calories. And I think it tastes good. My wife thinks it tastes like garbage. That's a whole other thing too. We didn't talk about that, but you have to have an acquired taste for the
The
ones that
the
are
palate
actually
changes.
yes. And like for me, I'm like, these are awesome. And she's like, "Ugh." but
I can almost guarantee I would like them.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So right now I am only doing protein powder and I'm doing 3 scoops a day. So I'm getting 60 grams of protein from protein powder, which is probably not optimal with, I could probably eat way more whole foods if I wanted to. I think for me, the I could probably get rid of 20 of those grams. I have a protein shake in the morning after like my workout, and it's just kind of something. I feel like it's a waste because I just mix it with water and it doesn't fill me up at all. But it's a quick start to getting 20 grams. And then for me, it's really in the evening. I make a huge protein shake. I mean, it's ginormous. I put a cup of Fairlife milk, put 2 scoops of protein, and I put some strawberries, blueberries, in there with ice. And I drink that thing and I am like so full afterwards. So for me, that is a filling meal.
It's high volume.
Yeah. And it's like I almost do it like right after I eat dinner too. So I eat so many of those calories like
That's
back to
your
back. It's like
dessert.
yes. Yeah, especially like well, I just got some new ones from shout out Legion. There's strawberry cheesecake and then red velvet cake. Um,
Are those
but my
good? I
go
haven't tried them. Are
strawberry
the
one's
flavors good?
okay. I've been mixing strawberry with it, so it's like more strawberry than it's a lot of strawberry. It's
It's
kind of like
heavy
you
on
get
the strawberry and
it's
low
heavy on
on
the
the cake.
strawberry. Yeah. Um, it's kind of weird. Like, you can always whenever they try to do different flavors, you can kind of tell it's fake. Some of those I love their vanilla, I love their chocolate, and love their cookies and cream. I think those are my 3 that are staples, and I just try the other ones when they're on sale and stuff. Um,
I'm always
you
scared to try new protein flavors because it's like What if
Yeah, you
you
got to
try
buy
the
all that
first
shit.
scoop and then it's
Yeah.
like, well, now I don't like it, but I've got the rest of the bag to finish and I don't want to buy it and
Yep.
waste it. So that's the
That's
tough
happened
part.
to me a lot of times, and then
Yeah, I'm always
I end up
scared for that
like
reason.
mixing half a scoop with a vanilla, half a scoop, like stuff like that. But overall, I think they're pretty good. Shout out Legion, Code Kaplan. So, but yeah, that's what I do. What about you? Where are you at with it?
I Yeah. Well, I have 2 scoops of protein per day,
Mhm.
1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, and I kind of have a shake too, but I have instead of just, like, water in the morning like what you have, or Fairlife milk even in the
Mhm.
evening with ice, I mix mine with unsweetened cashew milk. It's very, very low calorie, and I also have a lot of liquid in it, so, like, I'll have, like, a full liter, like, a
Okay.
lot, so
Yeah.
ton of volume. I'll also mix in it's actually very similar to, I think, like, some people mix oats in their smoothies
Mhm.
for a little bit of the starchiness. What I do is I mix in with the calories that are I'm able to. I mix in a little bit of oat flour, which is the same as oats. They're just ground up, like really
Okay.
finely ground oats. I mix that all together, add some extra sweetener, some pure
Mhm.
sucralose, which I buy on Amazon. It's not Splenda. It's like literally pure sucralose, like 600 times sweeter than sugar, 0 calories. Like you only need like a little tiny bit to make it super, super sweet.
Yeah.
And I blend it. That is the secret. You got to blend it. You can't mix it so it is a true smoothie texture and
Yeah.
mix. And then the key here is that I nuke it in the microwave, so I don't drink it cold.
Um,
I nuke it with the oat flour. It expands and turns into this delicious thing
this is
that
intense. You might have to send me
that
this recipe. I have to try this.
it's Zach. It's this will change your life, man. This is like I look forward to this every morning and every evening. It's like, and the cool thing is it's very low calorie. Outside of
Yeah.
the highest calorie part of this is the oat flour, and that's what I've had to, like since being in prep, I've had to bring that down a little bit, but the good news is it expands quite a bit when you throw it in the
Mm.
microwave, so I've got a relatively it's like 40-45 grams of oat flour, and in this massive mix of liquid and protein
Yeah.
powder, it expands quite a bit, and it creates a texture that is quite fantastic, I have to say, and I'll just sit it takes me a while to get through, like
Yeah.
but it's wonderful, man. It is
That's
absolutely
awesome.
wonderful. So, anyways,
Yeah.
I'll have a scoop of protein in that in the morning, and in the evening,
Okay.
easy. What is that? It's about 60 grams of protein or
Mhm.
50. I can't remember
Mhm.
how much protein is in a scoop of um, the Legion brand protein. But oh, it's fantastic. The key though
Yeah.
is I don't have it cold. I nuke it.
Mm.
I want it to expand. I want it to be like a pudding, and
Yeah.
it is a wonderful thing. So,
Nice.
I like to use it. I don't like including protein supplements because they have some special property that helps with building muscle.
Mhm.
I and I'm already getting enough protein even just with my whole foods. My protein is very high with my
Yeah.
macro ratio.
Yeah, what are
My
you
macro
hitting
ratio
right now with your protein?
250.
Yeah,
I've
dang, that is a
always
lot.
I know something that you mentioned earlier, like with you mentioned that hey, if my calories are relatively low, like it's hard to get 180 grams of protein per day. So like for me,
Mhm.
I think it's the way that like I grew up on like a super high protein diet. Like, the
Yeah.
meal always had to revolve around a lot of some kind of a protein source. It's just like always stuck with me.
Mhm.
So I've never had an issue of getting enough protein in and revolving the other stuff or revolving my meals around protein. And it's like, well, I'll just have to
Yeah.
make that work. And the other stuff I'll squeeze it in if I can, but I'm going to
Y
make sure I
y
get in the protein because I like it.
Yeah, you know what's funny though? Like, I have noticed the last couple of days, I've been bumping over 200. Um, and I think it's because of my meal prepping and having more whole foods than I did last year, and I
Yeah.
could easily replicate that. It's just like, I think for me, I don't like the monotony of the same food or like, well, it's like, I know I'm losing some, I guess, like protein to calorie ratio when I'm having other items that maybe aren't as high protein with like the Greek yogurt or something like that. I could just have more like another meal of chicken and shrimp. But it's like like being able to stay consistent with having like different items. And then with the HelloFresh stuff, it's like hit or miss. Like today it was a chicken breast, so there's a lot of protein there. But tomorrow might be this like ground beef or something. Like so it's like different. So like it kind of keeps it at least interesting for me as
It's
well.
more sustainable for your taste, your
Yeah.
preferences. Yeah,
But
for
it's funny when
sure.
you're talking about taste. The good thing I think I have is my palate is really lame. So, like, you're talking about having to have all this extra stuff. Like, I literally today, we went to the, lunch with my coworker, and I bring my Tupperware with me, and it's always funny because I've overcome this, and I just bring my Tupperware into places now, and, it had, like, the Tabasco or the hot sauce that has 0 calories or whatever, and I cannot handle anything spicy or anything hot. It's, like, pathetic, but I'm looking at this, and I'm like, "0 calories." And I'm like, I don't even have salt and pepper on my stuff. Like this chicken is, and this time I did not fry the chicken on the Blackstone. I put it in the oven, which it's like awful, right? Like when I
Don't do
cook it
it.
that way, yeah. And so I put a whole bunch of that hot sauce on there, and it like I'm like, but it's just when I was like, yeah, I think I'd rather eat it plain. That's how much I can handle
I
that with my
still
palate.
prefer it plain Jane, yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
That's
So
good, that's
yeah.
good. Well, the spicy stuff, you can use it strategically. I mean, if your
Hmm.
palate can handle it. It has a little bit of an appetite suppressing effect, so, like, when you get really deep into prep and you're, like, really struggling, it's like and you're trying to use, a couple of helpful tools to manage
Yeah.
that, it can help a little bit. It's not like a game changer or anything. If anything, for
Yeah.
you, like, when you were doing that, you're like, "Oh, this is a mistake." At least at that point, you're probably, like, more hungry. You're more
Yeah.
distracted by, like, "Oh, this is not
Yeah.
good," and then you weren't thinking about food,
Well,
so maybe that was, like, a little blessing in
yeah,
disguise.
and the good thing is maybe it will, because 'cause I'll need some variety later on in the prep, it'll open up my aperture for, like, stuff later when I'm not prepping, right? Maybe I can start handling more spicy and dynamic foods. So I have gotten
When you
better
can
at
handle
handling
it.
it. Yeah,
When you
I've
can
gotten
handle
better.
all those high quality flavors.
Yeah, exactly, get cultured. Um, but, yeah, I definitely think, I've gotten better with that. Question for you, what are your, do you have any, like, go-tos? Because I know what mine are. Like, so they're not, like, protein bars, but, like, other protein sources. So I mentioned, like, Greek yogurt, but, like, what are your kind of, like, staple, standard items that you're eating that have a lot of, or that, like, if someone new is watching, like, you can easily buy this or that, and you might as well buy that because it has more protein in it.
Personal preference in prep when I'm trying to be conservative on calories, make sure that there's a decent protein to calorie ratio is gonna be basically any kind of lean protein source. What I'm
Mhm.
having right now is extra lean ground chicken when measured raw for every 100 grams.
What?
That's 130 calories, so that would be different when cooked. It's not gonna be a ton different, but it'll be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Um, th I also have canned tuna is a huge staple for me. It means a
Mhm.
lot less meal prep. It's I
Yeah.
0 meal prep. It's relatively inexpensive. You can buy packs of 6 here for, like, 13 bucks. And an easy way to get more protein is, like, for me, for my lunch, is not to have 1 can, but I have 2 cans of protein. That's a lot of protein, and I don't
Mhm.
have to do any meal prep for it. It's like I think the big thing is a lot of people don't like the taste, and it's not
Taste and smell, yeah.
it's not my favorite taste in the world, but it's good enough. I have,
Yep.
like, a little bit of chili powder, and sometimes I make it spicy with cayenne pepper or whatever, um, but it does the trick, and it's super
You could
easy
put,
to
like, a
do.
rice cake in there instead of, like, your crackers
I
normally
have
with it, just
rice
do a rice cake. Yeah.
I have rice cakes with that meal. I do have rice cakes with man, you read my mind, absolutely.
Mhm.
Um, but, really any lean protein source. So, right now it's tuna and extra lean chicken, but I would also swap the extra lean chicken for extra lean turkey. The flavors are
Yep.
different, and actually,
That's
when I reduce my calories a little bit, the next time I'll probably make that swap. There's a slightly lower fat, lower calorie ratio,
yeah.
with an even leaner, extra lean turkey, ground
Mhm.
turkey that I can buy at my grocery store, so I'll probably make that swap next. Um, extra lean ground beef is great too. Tends
Yep.
to be a little bit more high calorie. So like that's where I started my prep was with that, and then I moved to the extra lean
Okay,
chicken.
nice.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of making this progression. Extra lean seafood is fantastic too. So I know like you have the shrimp. That
Mhm,
that would be high on my list. It's pretty expensive here. I'm
mhm.
not sure if in North Carolina it's less expensive than it is over here, but
Shrimp
it's very
everywhere.
okay. Yeah, it's very expensive here. So I don't. Otherwise, I would have shrimp regularly. I
Yeah.
would have it instead of tuna because I like it better than tuna. But like white fish, bassa,
Mhm,
cod, tilapia, if you like it, like all of those
mhm,
incredibly good protein to calorie ratios, any of those white fish. I also will have salmon a couple times a week.
mhm.
I buy it canned. Don't hate me on that. There are some types, it depends on the kind of salmon. If you want it to be leaner, there are leaner salmon. So like pink salmon is
Yeah.
quite lean, but there's other types of salmon that are less lean, so they'll have more calories. And if you're able to have the extra calories, then my goodness, go for it because
Yep.
it's like extra omega threes. That's why I have it. I'll have it 1 or 2 times a week to get a little bump in my omega threes.
Mhm,
And one more, two more. Oh man,
mhm.
I'm two more. So I'll have egg whites as well. Plain
Okay.
Jane egg whites. If I had more
Yep.
calories to spend, I would have egg yolks with those.
Yep.
The fat in those is actually quite nutrient
Mhm.
dense. It's got a good fatty acid profile, really good for your health. If I was in prep, I would have more egg yolks, but it's primarily egg whites.
Yep.
And last one, I'll have 1 can a day. Man, you can tell I love the canned stuff.
Yeah.
1 can a day of oysters.
Oh,
Reason
I
reason
hate oysters.
reason for this is 1, because I think they're delicious. They're I Zach, I have this with my breakfast. This is the first thing I
Oh,
eat in the
no.
morning, and it's great. It, like, gets my palate ready because then I have that
Yeah.
that oat bowl, that hot
Yep.
smoothie. So, like, I have this really savory, like, it's fishy savory thing, and it primes my palate, and then all of a sudden I transition over to this oat bowl, and it's, like, perfect for the palate.
Tell us in the
But
comments if you agree with this, starting your day with oysters.
yeah, yeah, join the team.
Yeah.
And, so I genuinely do love the taste, and it's funny how,
Mhm.
like, I end up liking it more the deeper I'm in prep because the palate changes. The food just starts tasting better when you get leaner and
Yeah.
hungrier. It's just the way it
Yep.
goes. So it
Everything is
tastes
good.
really good to me right now. Um, but also because it's incredibly high in zinc, and
Okay.
zinc is I mean, it's very helpful for
Mhm.
your hormone regulation and secretion. It's helpful for retaining and building muscle, among this big list of things of reasons why zinc is helpful. It's also very high in iron, which is also helpful for muscle retention, muscle
Yeah.
growth, and keeping the body healthy in general. So it's like a great kick for those micronutrients, in addition to there being a little bit of protein and a little bit
Mhm.
of omega 3s as well. So there's
Yeah.
just like this super nutrient packed can of awesomeness.
Well, and
So those
it's
are my
funny
go-tos right now.
because we talk about, like, how some of these produce can be more expensive, but, like, canned tuna is not expensive at all, right? So, like, people can pick these different options, I
Oh
think, to be
yeah.
able to fit it,
Yeah.
and then, like, I've heard some stuff, like, whenever I love ground beef, I love beef in general, like, obviously, when it comes to the calories to ratio, it's not as good, but, like, there's a difference between getting the 80% lean versus, like, 90 versus
Yep.
97%, right? Like, and
Big
so
differences too.
yeah, huge, and
Huge.
I haven't done, like, a cost analysis, but I can't imagine it's breaking the bank in that difference, right? Like, you could probably make up those margins somewhere else, um, cutting out alcohol or anything else that you're doing, right? But, and then I don't know, I haven't looked into this, but I've heard, like, washing it, like, can reduce it, but I feel like that's going, like, next level extra, like,
Yeah. I no
just
thank you.
yeah. Yeah, I'm like, "What? No,
Yeah.
not worth it." Like, I'll just whatever the wrapper says, um, for it. I am also a big egg white guy in the carton, just again, purely
Yeah, you drink it
the
raw, don't you?
I have, yes. I've been making, though, more, omelets, though, lately with it, and the difference I'm doing this year than last year, we've talked about this, like, me actually measuring stuff, like, cheese is, like, the worst, right? Because I want an omelet with some cheese, and I get, like, the turkey, thin turkey slices, right, low calorie kinda stuff, like, to put in there in these omelets, and it's like, I'm taking this, like, pinch of cheese, I'm weighing it, and I'm like, "That's half the serving, so that's 50 calories of cheese,
It's
is that it?"
depressing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm thinking back when I used to make, like, quesadillas or, like, nachos and just, like, how much cheese I would put on it. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Ugh. Okay, so, like but, put a little bit in there. I do like eggs, though, still. I will still eat a ton of actual eggs. Still pretty low calorie. But,
They're
I,
great.
yeah, I'm the same with you, like, chicken, shrimp are my 2 staples right now. I do as I get more in prep, I'll probably switch over to some tilapia as well. Um, and then, I love cottage cheese and Greek yogurt. I love those, and I put them on a rice cake and kinda use that's kinda like a little snack. But I like your idea about tuna. I might add that with it because I don't know how many calories a tuna packet is. But if I could take one of those and put that on that with it, mixing cottage cheese and tuna on a rice cake, my wife would probably think that's so gross. But that would add a little bit more
I think it'd
maybe
be great.
in that. Yeah, fill me up a little bit more.
It's like especially with, like, you could make, like, a tuna salad. So that's what you could do, is, like, make it a tuna salad spread for the rice cakes, but, like, Greek yogurt
Mhm.
would probably work really well because 'cause it's got that tang, like, so it's, like,
Yeah.
instead of mayonnaise. And then you could add
Mhm.
some, like, I don't know if this is too out there, but, like, you could make it, like, actually like a tuna salad, add some, like, little pickle slices in there if you or, like,
Ooh,
just use
yeah.
relish, like, so a little bit of that actual tuna salad kind of a texture in there. Um
Mhm. I like that
But
idea.
it depends on how much time you wanna spend, because at the end of the day, we just gotta get the food in our s
Yeah,
and
it's super
and we
convenient
just
right
gotta
there at lunch,
just
just, like, at the desk.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's, like, my staple during the week, but on the weekends you were talking about, switching to, like, turkey, so last week I
I love
bought
turkey.
yeah, so I buy, like, the sausage links, the Jimmy Dean, the calories and it says on the box 8 grams of protein, okay, for each serving, which is 3 links, and those links are, like, 280 calories for 3 links, so doesn't meet our threshold,
High
right?
protein.
Yeah, right, but I bought, like, turkey ones this time and, like, so much lower calorie, more protein, but you can definitely taste the difference, right? Like, you're giving up something, like, all that
Yeah.
fat and oil and juice, like, oh, man, nothing beats that with a sausage. But, I am a big proponent talking about putting proteins in things. I am big into protein pancakes, protein waffles. So I just buy the Premier
Yeah.
Protein mix, and I haven't really done a huge comparison to. I I probably could just also do normal pancake mix. I don't know what the difference is, but I load those things up with protein. I basically put the serving in there, and then I put in instead of just water, I put in Fairlife milk, the low fat. I put in an egg, make it a little bit thicker, and then I put a scoop of Legion protein in it as well. So
Oh,
like
man.
it's
Is it
yeah,
what's the
so
texture like?
filling.
Is it like a super dense texture?
Yeah,
Is
it
it
is a little bit
fluffy or like
thicker. So I actually add a little it actually calls for 3/4 cups of water or milk, and I put a cup in because of that extra protein powder and
right.
stuff. And then
That
the
makes sense.
extra egg helps
It
keep it
thickens it
like
all up.
yeah.
Right.
I trust me, I've had some where it doesn't cook
Bad
right or it
batches?
doesn't yeah, and I'm like, of course, I'm like,
You eat it
it's
anyways. You're like, "Well,
yeah,
that was my Sunday morning this week. Hopefully, I'll get it
yep,
right next time."
yeah. I think, it's one of those things that's very daunting for a lot of people when you start tracking it. It's humbling, right? When you actually realize how much calories and protein you're not getting. Um, But man, there's once you open your eyes to it, there are so many options. Low calorie things. Like I crush it with syrup. I buy the low calorie, it's 10 calories, for 2 tablespoons of whatever. I'll eat that on that day. You know what I mean? Like you can put a ton of syrup on there. For me, you definitely taste a difference. But like
Still
the
good.
reward is worth it. You get a
Yeah,
little bit
and
of enjoyment and you lose weight. Like
it is
so
still good. Like, the palate
yeah.
does get used to it.
Yeah.
The alternative is like, real Canadian maple syrup.
Oh, so good.
It's easy to have, like, 5 to 800 calories on your pancakes, like,
Mhm.
pancakes aside, just the syrup, like, easy. You ever look at
Yes.
the, like, 1/4 of a cup is, like, I can't remember, but it's like
It's yeah.
horribly high calorie.
Isn't it
It
crazy when you think about that, man? I don't know. I was so naive and when I was young, and it's interesting too to think about that. But
ignorance is bliss, right?
yeah,
Ignorance is
yeah.
bliss.
So, but yeah, no, I think
Those were
it's
the good days.
I
Things are
know when
it's
you didn't have
good
to
to
worry
it
about
is
that.
good to know that. It is good to know this stuff though. I mean, like,
Mhm.
this is that's understanding what's in our food, it
Yep.
gives us control over the state of our body,
Yeah.
which is an amazing thing.
Well,
Plus, we it gives us all of these creative options, right? This is
yep.
kind of fun, right? We get to figure out all these kind of cool ways of like we still can eat stuff that tastes good and like large volumes of food that just
Mhm.
so happens to fit what our
Goals are. Yeah.
yeah, what our goals are. And it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun. We get to be like
Yeah.
mad scientists of macronutrients.
And trying to create something that is like it's almost like a competition too. You're creating something that's on par with like whatever the standard is out there, but yours is healthier and better, right? Like, but you're gonna make it taste on par with it. Um, I also think, for me, it really opened my eyes to just nutrients in general, and then also being okay with whatever season you're in. So like when I'm prepping for the marathon, I understand now that I need more carbs, I need more energy, like all this different stuff. And I think like for you, I mean, you drop a ton of weight. Already you dropped what, 20 something pounds? I think
Like
you're down
24.
24 pounds. Like, and you know, yes, it's over a significant amount of time, but you're just changing a few little things, dialing back a little things. And I think people like that's where people can look to. They can say, oh, like, yeah, I just have to make these little switches and be consistent with it for like a month, and they'll start seeing those changes. Like, just stick with it for 1 month, and you'll see a huge difference. Um,
Yeah. That
you
really
gotta
is kinda all it
Yeah,
takes. But that's the tough part, right? Is like, man, sticking to that for a month for, for most
yeah,
people is quite the challenge.
yep, yep. The challenge I think would be the way I think people should do it is like just try to eat this much protein, like X amount, but no protein bars, none of the high protein stuff, just whole foods, and then you'll be stuffed, you'll be full, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's good. I'm glad it's moving in that direction. I think I'm glad people like, the video we watched are making videos like that to keep it present out there to open people's minds that, yes, it is switching, but just to be careful. Like, businesses and companies will take advantage and just be fully aware of it. Um, 'Cause I thought it was a great message from the video. I had no issues with it. Even he had his little sponsor with I think it was Macro
Macro
Factor or
factor.
something. Like, all those things, like, tracking apps, all those things are good too. Like, get into it. It's just data. Data helps, you know? So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. I'm all for it too. I think the growing fascination with protein nowadays is only good. It's just
Yep.
purely that the marketing can be
Yeah,
misleading. I think that's the biggest stumbling point nowadays, and I think the
for
world would
sure.
be better if it was just purely based off of a 100% honesty system, then,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that would be good, but, you know,
Yeah, no, I agree.
it
Yeah.
is what it is. Anyhow, yeah, no, this has been good.
Yeah.
I think
I
that,
think, yeah, it was good, and I think people should, put something in the comments if you want to know Sam's recipe for his crazy, protein, smoothie mix microwave oat thing.
it'll change your life. So
Yes,
if you wanna know, you gotta let me know, so you gotta leave a comment below. It's the only way I'll tell you.
definitely,
Any
definitely.
anyhow, cool. Well, there you go. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please or the episode, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you, Zach.
Thank you.